Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Turn Down Friday. Welcome to the weekend. I don't even know how to start this video today. The internet is so crazy. I mean, it's so funny to think that when we were little kids, the internet wasn't even like a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing. Hardly anybody was on it. And now you got people doing these crazy challenges. So today we're just going to talk about the Momo challenge. I know you heard about it on the news. You've probably at least seen that creepy, weird image with the big smile. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Momo challenge.
The Momo challenge. I guess one word that kind of sticks out to me just about it is that it is very disturbing. The fact that the information and the things that kids are watching can be infiltrated by people who have a sick agenda in mind is just really disturbing. It makes you kind of want to stand on edge as a parent because, you know, there are all these dangers in the world, and I think a lot of people have felt that with parental control and things like that it kind of blocks the ability for things like that to infiltrate the system. However, you're finding that a lot of these videos are still coming through, though, and passing those parental controls because the Momo is actually embedded in the children's videos, and what it does is that it's almost like it presents as a command hallucination, right? A command hallucination in something that's auditory, that say someone diagnosed with schizophrenia may hear. But except for it's a child that's actually seeing an image, talking to them, giving them a command that is dangerous, whether it's to hurt themselves or to hurt someone else. I mean, just when you think that raising a child in today's society is difficult as is, add that to the mix.
Now, we want to say, first and foremost, we know it's a hoax. I mean, we know it's supposedly a hoax. Nobody's been really hurt, by it. I mean, I recall maybe a year ago, and these things keep popping up every couple of years on social media. I remember the Blue Whale Challenge, where there may or may not have been some actual deaths, but I mean, I think the idea that could be something out there that is leading people to try to commit suicide is, I mean, it's weird because, I mean, I know that people our age, older kids even, kind of know that it's fake. I mean, I've seen a lot, well, not fake, but they're not going to be moved to do anything that's going to, any kind of self-harm from it, because they know it's kind of like this thing that's just weird and something you want to stay away from. I mean, they can see the danger, or at least the craziness of it all. But I mean, there's also a lot of people or kids who are even younger who lack some of the context, who are already maybe really depressed. So I see a lot on social media. The reaction is mainly that just keep this thing away from me. This thing is like absurd, crazy, wow, whatever. But there's a real dark side to the internet where there's things that feed right into the darkness that some of these really depressed young kids, they don't realize that it's not real, or it's not even that they don't realize it. It's just it feeds the negativity that they have in their minds to the point where, I mean, you don't know what could happen when they're exposed to something like that. I mean, it's crazy because when we were young, we didn't have anything like this, but what I do remember is Candyman. How many of y'all saw Candyman? And you remember that part where you go into the mirror and you have to say Candyman 5 times and make him come to you and like kill you? So I remember all kind of kids used to be doing that at school bathrooms. I know, even church. I remember the church bathroom, we would be in the bathroom and with the lights out going Candyman, Candyman, Candyman.
That's not funny.
It's kind of funny. Look, because y'all did it. Y'all remember that. Y'all, I mean, some of y'all older millennials, y'all remember that. Because that was like the 90s.
But I do want to say that I don't necessarily think that it feeds primarily on, or feeds on kids that are depressed. I feel like so long as the kid is impressionable, you have kids that they may not be depressed, but because they may feel like, oh, maybe this is something that's true. Because the Momo, it also threatens your family if you don't follow through with whatever the command is that's initially given. And so it instills fear, right? You don't necessarily have to be depressed. It's just it's an issue of fear that it elicits, which leads to the kids acting up whatever it is. They feel compelled to do it.
So
for those
you feel
reasons.
like people who are, if a kid is so afraid that they will try to hurt themselves. I mean, I feel like if you're afraid of it, you're gonna just stay away from it.
Well, the thing is not. I don't know. I've watched the videos and I'm not interested in really watching it because I'm really mindful about the things that I insert into my mind, into my space. But I feel like the commands that are made, it may not be like, oh, take a gun and shoot you. It may, but I feel like there are other things that could be like, put your hand on the fire, you're not gonna get burned. You know, things like that, where it's just like, it doesn't really seem like it could be harmful, you know, or you could fly, just, you know, jump out your bedroom window. It's gonna be okay.
I don't know, man. The world is just such a crazy place. It's funny, but it's not funny. I mean, I remember like before we were even born, you had stuff like those cults. I mean, like Charles Manson and stuff. Like, I don't even know how stuff like that gets started. Like, how does somebody have such adoration?
It's manipulation.
Somebody?
It's manipulation. Sometimes even the need to belong somewhere. It could be, you know, I guess it coincided with the needing to belong somewhere, the fellowship. Maybe you never really feel like you are cared for or loved by, you know, wherever you are. And as children, again, they're very impressionable, so they may not realize the dangers in it. They don't really have a true sense of something being dangerous in this sense, especially in the social media world. So it's just a new area to maneuver.
Well, I mean, there's some weird, dark stuff on the internet. I mean, stuff that's so dark and disturbing that it makes you wonder, like, even, I mean, is this the best that humanity can even offer? Anyway, parents, make sure you paying attention to what your kids are watching. You know, make sure you pay attention to the signs. I mean, if they have issues, they need to see a therapist. You know, get on that. Don't just try to sweep it under the rug. I mean, there's some real stuff out there, and a lot of times, you know, you're hearing about these kids who are committing suicide. Their parents would have had no idea that anything was even wrong until too late they find out that this was happening and this was happening. So, everybody just take care of yourselves, all right? Candyman, 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 Candyman.
He's so ridiculous.
All right, we'll see y'all later.